You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
You're listening to the Niagara Wrestling Observer, your Niagara region source for trending topics, entertaining discussions, and pay-per-view analysis within the world of professional wrestling. Here are your hosts, Corporate Cappy and Kyle Masters.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Niagara Wrestling Observer, right here on the Armchair GM's Sports Network, your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. We are here on the Spreaker app. Guys, if you haven't downloaded that Spreaker app, I don't know what you're waiting for. Download that Spreaker app. It is available on all Apple and Android devices. Lets you listen live when we are live on the network. It also lets you check out all other episodes of the podcast as well. We are also available on such platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Deezer, Podcast Addict. Wherever you are finding your podcasts, you can find the Armchair GM's Sports Network, and you can find us, the Niagara Wrestling Observer. We're here on the August 8th edition of the podcast, so I am your host, as always. I am Kyle Masters, yes, my alter ego, my wrestling character breaking out here, Kyle Masters, and I'm joined by my co-host. He's got one too. He's known as Mr. Corporate himself. He is Corporate Cappy. What's going on, Corporate Cappy?
Not a whole lot, except for the fact that that debate last week was pretty bad.
Oh yeah,
so I'm ready to give up my corporate opinions on that AEW debate. Can't wait. I can't wait to talk about how great WWE was this week, especially with things like Raw Underground and such. You know?
Oh yeah, man,
it was such good shit.
Yeah, it was such good shit. That's right. It was great. Can't wait to talk about that, guys. We have a jam-packed show for you guys. Thank you for tuning into the episode 1. I seen we had a lot of love on Twitter over the last week, doing that follow train. It really did help us, and hopefully you guys loved the first episode. We're here back with the second one. Going to be probably a smaller episode, maybe around the same time. We'll see. But thank you for tuning in back here, and make sure you are subscribing to us. We have a YouTube channel. Make sure you're following the Armchair GM Sports Network. A lot of other sports-related podcasts on there for you guys to enjoy, and other contents. And make sure you're checking us out at armchairgmsports.com. Great website. We write articles on there, and you can find all the podcasts on there. Really good website. So check it out, guys. Today's show, we have it's like a WWE heavy-filled show. Other than our Wednesday Night Wars segment where we talk about AEW versus WWE. A lot of WWE stuff to talk about. We got news on the draft. Oh, boy. The draft.
Back when the draft was good.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work.
50,000 views for a draft video we did.
Yeah, one time we had, with myself and Cappy here, we did a mock draft for you sport nuts out there. You guys know what that's all about. We did a mock draft on YouTube. We did like graphics for it. It got like 50,000 views. I was like, how does that get 50,000 views? And like all of our videos were like below like 100.
Yeah,
it was just weird.
It was hard-hitting content at that time. That was when the draft had just come back and it had just been announced.
That's right. We got some Rock and Dana Ryan had been kind of teasing us on wrestling Twitter. We'll have to talk about that a little bit. And then, yikes, I can't believe this is coming out on Twitter. We'll talk a little bit about it. Marty Jannetty, man. So his name comes up in the wrestling world, and I'm thinking, it's going to be something about Shawn Michaels. It's going to be something about his wrestling career. Yikes, this something to do with him killing a man in 1973. We'll have to talk about a little bit about that. Then when we come back from commercial break, we'll talk about the Wednesday Night Wars. We're going to talk a little bit about Raw Underground. Yep, great. Some good stuff there. And then WWE going back probably to live TV as soon as SummerSlam weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. So, jam-packed show. Can't wait. Can't wait to start talking some of this stuff.
Sure.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm pretty. I mean, there's not really much to rib on. I mean, WWE, there's not much for me to talk about as far as bad stuff with them. So we can talk about Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt becoming a couple. That's also good.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that's great. That's great.
Or your boy Big Show as well, talking about retirement.
Oh,
just something that you've been waiting for about 10 years now.
Can he just retire already? Like, just Please just go away. Go to your Netflix show. Just stick there, man. Just stay on Netflix. Get out of the wrestling scene, man. We've seen enough. What else do we need to see from Mr. Paul White? What do we have to see?
He had an appealing feud with Randy Orton.
God,
because we hadn't seen that before. Two very up and coming talents there.
Yeah, right. Oh well, that's about it. What we're going to talk about today. So guys, hang around. We're going to go to our first commercial break first here in the Armchair GM Sports Network. We'll come back and talk some more wrestling and more WWE right here in the Niagara Wrestling Observer. So stick around. And don't you go anywhere, right here on the Armchair GM's Sports Network.
Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional-style Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings, winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award, 4 years running from Niagara this week for Best Pizza and Wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. Way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory. And Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code ARMCHAIR at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Throatstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Niagara Wrestling Observer right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Here to talk some more wrestling for you folks out there. Here to talk a little, again, like a lot more WWE stuff than normal. But one thing I want to talk about is very important, and as you heard in the first part there, that me and Cappy love. We loved this thing when it was a thing in WWE when it came back. I think it was around 2016. And that's the WWE draft. Actually, there's plans for it to be coming back. I wonder how and why all of a sudden they want to bring back the WWE draft. So let's get into this article. So as noted earlier this week, the dates for the WWE draft have changed several times. Dave Meltzer reports on the Wrestling Observer that the current plan is to hold the draft in October. As it has been the case in the past, there would be 2 dates with one draft show on Raw and one draft show on SmackDown. At first, the plan was for the draft to take place in October, but there is a realization that change is needed because of declining ratings. So the draft was moved to August. It was brought up that moving the draft to August would mess up plans for SummerSlam. As late as last week, the plan was to do the draft in late August after SummerSlam, but there are plans to do a second pay-per-view now after SummerSlam. Wait, so... and they move it to September. As of today, the plan is to do the draft is for the draft to happen now back in October. But like most things in WWE, that could change if the Raw Underground concept works. Well, we'll see. And the ratings begin to go up. WWE won't have as much pressure to do the draft so soon. So draft show typically do better ratings for that week. So my lord. So it was in October. Then he moved to August. Then they're like, no, we want to do another pay-per-view right after SummerSlam. What? They're going to do a pay-per-view a week after SummerSlam. Wow.
I mean, you got to capitalize on the big ticket, you know? I mean,
That-
obviously.
That is the worst idea. We've seen it not work before. When they do a Saudi show like right after a pay-per-view, it screws up the build.
Nobody's going to care about it. How can you build a pay-per-view in 1 week?
I just like, what? And I read somewhere they bring back Payback. Remember Payback? The
So
shattered glass and all that stuff.
So what, is it just going to be rematches of SummerSlam?
Oh my god. So yeah, Payback a week later from SummerSlam. They're gonna have a Payback a week after SummerSlam. Oh,
I'm trying to find a corporate answer to like be a goon about it, but I can't. That's just wrong in every scenario.
Hey, and in some of Dirty's minds, it's
This is such good shit.
that's right, it's such good shit.
You need to leave Vince alone with that.
Anyways, back to the draft topic here. So it changed dates 3 times and ended up going right back to October.
But what is the point of the draft? Like, people, like, from what I've been watching, people have been appearing on both shows anyway. So, like, are they really going to stick to the draft concept with people only appearing on one brand? Because I thought they were going to scrap that totally. Like, I heard that was in talks.
They should, because
before
they did it
WrestleMania.
right. They did do it right back in 2016. Back when we did that draft session, they did it right because they stuck to their formula. They kept both teams or both rosters on separate shows. They did it right then. But the couple of times that they did it after, they did those dumb things where, like, you know, there's going to be the special nights where a Raw guy would come over or they give, like, recently they've been giving, like, people, like, statuses, like exemption
wild
status.
card.
Yeah, the wild card rule. Oh man, don't even get me started on the wild card rule.
And then, like, so are they going to include NXT into this, or is it just going to be Raw and SmackDown?
Yeah, there's nothing in this article about that, but I don't even think they should. If they want to treat if now that NXT is a main cable show, they should be treating it like a third roster. But clearly the trend in the company is still Raw and SmackDown are above NXT. So they kind of want to stick to that formula at the same time. Like I think they want to have NXT as a third brand, but they kind of still want a developmental show. You know what I mean? So it's not like they can create a fourth show and make that the developmental show and have NXT as a third brand. I think NXT does well as being the developmental show and actually, like, outperforming the main roster. It creates for good television, I think.
I mean, you say that it's developmental, but they sometimes think that it's a third brand, where back in the day they had ECW as a third brand. But I don't know, NXT, like, when they were supposed to go to Fox Sports, like, I really thought it was supposed to be like a third brand, and then that never happened. Then they went to USA. So, like, is it a developmental brand or is it a third brand? Because I feel like they bounce around from the feelings of that.
Yeah. And it's not even a developmental brand, really. It's a brand that maybe helps some of the other talent from other companies that come in to maybe develop into the WWE way of doing things. But even then, like, they develop them into this, you know, this WWE NXT way. But then that changes right when they go to Raw and SmackDown. So I really don't get it. If you're going to take these people that come in from other companies and put them on NXT to develop that WWE way of doing wrestling, why do you all of a sudden change it again when they get the call up to Raw or SmackDown? That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to bring them into NXT, you keep the same formula for all 3 shows. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you know why Raw and SmackDown look different, because Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon are the ones,
This is such good
with the most pull on that, and they think that they know, you know, that the NXT, what NXT does isn't gonna cater to a general casual audience.
Mm-hmm. It's just, they really need to sit back and organize that better if they're going to do something like that. It's just, if they're going to do the draft, I'd love them to do NXT. I think it's smart. I think you're creating different, you know, you're creating different things for each show. But then at the same time, I'm just like, maybe they shouldn't. Maybe you keep NXT the way it is because their formula seems to work. But at this point, it just seems like NXT is just going in the wrong path. It almost seems like they're trying too hard to compete with AEW, and they're doing different things, and they're kind of moving away from what I've seen to what they're really known for and what they were known for. Like they just brought Pat McAfee in to face Adam Cole of all people. Like that's a legit match at TakeOver 30. Like Pat McAfee is gonna face Adam Cole. Like that's something the main roster does. You would never see that in NXT prior to AEW even being a thing.
I think you're giving AEW too much credit.
What do you mean? It's clear as day. When have you ever seen a football star, any kind of personality from anywhere in the world, come in and have a match with someone in NXT prior to AEW? It's never happened. You tell me it's just a weird coincidence? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time to start now. Obviously, they're trying to get in on Pat McAfee's audience because he obviously has a
big audience on YouTube. Yeah. Meanwhile, NXT's ratings generate more than his show would ever. Like he dreams. He's probably doing it just to get clout on his own damn show because he can't get any viewers on his shows. So he's going, I'm gonna go to NXT. Steal the viewers.
Sure, you're really throwing a lot of shade on Pat McAfee, especially when you're going up against your boy Adam Cole over there.
Oh yeah, right.
Well, that's because you're full of crap.
Yeah, what's the next topic?
I don't know. Anyways, as for the draft, I just hope they do it right. That's all I hope.
The last couple have been terrible.
Yeah. Talk about this is pretty cool. So The Rock and Daniel Bryan actually been teasing each other, and I wouldn't mind seeing a Rock and Daniel Bryan fight because that's something we've never seen before. And The Rock's still in good shape. I believe he can still go. But as noted earlier, Daniel Bryan indicated on Twitter that he would like to wrestle The Rock. Bryan may have even been joking or not, but The Rock seems to be up for the match. The Rock actually tweeted back, I can see the writing on this wall for miles away. I'll be jobbing again in the spirit of being a girl dad. Let's do it. And congrats, brother, on the new arrival. We are thrilled for you, Mama B, and the fam. So Daniel Bryan is getting a new daughter. They did announce that he's getting another kid. The Rock has never fully closed the door on wrestling again. If the time and circumstances are right, Roman Reigns even expressed interest on wrestling The Rock next year at WrestleMania 37, which is currently scheduled to take place in Los Angeles, but we never know currently with the pandemic. If the match ever happens, it'll likely be not anytime soon since all parties involved would likely want such a match to happen in front of a packed stadium. WWE is hoping to have some fans at SummerSlam, but the pandemic won't allow them to run shows in a packed stadium until 2021. So, yeah, I mean, it would be cool. I could think a Rock and Daniel Bryan match would sell. Would you?
I don't know. To me, I just feel like Daniel Bryan, maybe back when the whole Yes Movement was going on, it would have been a lot more exciting. Now Daniel Bryan, I feel like his momentum and his popularity has just gone down half of what it was before.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I would have loved a Rock and Daniel Bryan match back when the Yes Movement was going on and Daniel Bryan was the guy at the time. But now he's basically mid-card now, and there's really no reason to get behind him right now. I can't take Daniel Bryan credibly with his character right now going up against somebody like Rock. If it was, like I said, 2015 Bryan or whatever that was, that would have been unbelievable because obviously he had so much momentum and popularity at that point. But right now I just don't really see that match living up to expectations of what it could have been.
I think fantasy wise, sure. But reality wise, it can't happen. They'd have to do a lot. And I mean a lot of work to get that match as hype as they would, especially with a crowd. And there would have to be a storyline there. These guys don't really have a past that they could build off of. It would have to be something in the now, and I think Daniel Bryan would have already had to have been riding a momentum wave. He would have to be in the top story, or he would have to be in one of the top storylines going on in whatever brand he was on. It's just, it would be cool fantasy wise, like I said, but reality wise, it'd be way too tough to even do. But as the article stated, I think the story is still there, and I think they could do it any time. Is Roman Reigns and The Rock. You had the bloodline there. You had the history there of The Rock even putting over Roman Reigns. There's that whole Royal Rumble spot. I know I deep down would probably want to see Roman Reigns and Rock finally go at it. They want, that's just, the family thing is the biggest part of all that, right?
To me, that's a way better matchup than Daniel Bryan versus The Rock.
And if you think about it, like, how would you do it? Who would you book? I don't think you book both as a babyface. I know typically WWE would probably go the route of a Cena Rock. Like, there's not a clear-cut heel in this case. They're both baby faces going at it. I would love to see a heel at least in this case. One of them would have to go heel.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Roman would never seems like Roman's never going to turn heel, and when The Rock comes back, you can't make him a heel because he's just too popular. He'd be getting cheered. So I don't know. I mean, you have had babyface versus babyface before in those type of scenarios where it is two, megastars like Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Rock, Cena. Hogan was heel but ended up turning babyface against The Rock.
I think for sure it would be exactly like a Cena Rock thing. They would be a year build or even like half a year build, and you know what? I would love to see The Rock go back heel. I know he would still get cheered, but man, Hollywood Rock, he was still getting cheered when he was Hollywood Rock. Like, even when they're doing that, like, he would still get booed, but in the end, people would still cheer him because he's always The Rock. I would still love him to go back to that and still make an attempt. Maybe like a different kind of Rock we've never seen before. Maybe not even a Hollywood Rock. Maybe just like a dirty heel that attacks Roman and he's just like, something different.
Like, makes it a personal thing about family. Like, you're disgracing our family and our bloodlines and this and that, and The Rock wants to, take him out for that.
Yeah,
so I could see something like that. Yeah.
If not, I still wouldn't mind if they did the John Cena Rock thing, that typical way. I think it's a match that needs to happen in this case. Like, I don't think they could go without those two actually going at each other. And I think that would probably be Rock's last match. I think that The Rock would probably put his career on the line, and Rowan would put him down, and that would be the Rock's wrestling send off, and that would be it.
Yeah, I mean that would be a way to do it for The Rock. I'm sure The Rock wants to have a match with Roman before his career's over. Like, I just think that's a match that we're going to see happen at some point before Rock hangs it up. And like you said, maybe even a career versus career or something match.
Yeah. Well, there's that. And then, this next story is, what? I don't even know how to even make an attempt at reading this, but Marty Jannetty suddenly became a trending topic on Twitter, and like all you're like, what? Like, why is Marty Jannetty? Like, it's so weird some days when you go on Twitter and you see a random name trending for whatever reason, and you're like, why? So I clicked this, and I was curious. I want to know why Marty Jannetty was tweeting all of a sudden, trending all of a sudden. And here's the article name. Marty Jannetty gives more details on what led him to killing a man in 1973. I don't know if this was public knowledge beforehand, but I don't remember ever reading Marty Jannetty killing someone. Like, I don't remember hearing this. I don't remember. I really don't. But
you hear about the Jimmy Snuka stuff, but like, I never heard Marty Jannetty come up with that.
So here's the story. Former WWE superstar Marty Jannetty was on Boston Wrestling Sports YouTube channel on last Wednesday night to address his claim that he killed someone in 1973 when he was 13 years old. 13 years old. Jannetty, and this is where it gets twisted. Jannetty said a man tried to rape him behind a bowling alley, and the man was known to lure little kids in. He was a front desk clerk, Jannetty said. He was known to sell the weed. What I didn't know was he lured little kids. I can't say he deserves to die, but he deserved to get his ass beat, Jannetty said. Jannetty said he wasn't trying to kill the man when he was beating him in the head with a brick.
Okay.
But when the man died, then he tried to get rid of the body. Jannetty continued, can you imagine dragging a guy? He just tried to, I'm not going to, rape you. I'm just going to leave rape. I'm not going to say what he wrote here. Can you imagine dragging him to the river and throwing him in and then finding out on the news the dude's missing? You know that dude, and you know more than that. That affected me bad, bro. Like, I'm going to stop the article here. Like, what?
13 years old? How big was he at 13?
And he dragged a dead body to a river? Like, what?
Did they ever find this guy?
Yeah, he said on the news they found him, and he's like, hang on, that was the missing body report. I gotta continue with this article, but like, I'm sitting there reading this and going like crickets. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, what?
Why would he come out and admit that?
My head is swirling right now. So I'll continue with this article. The Columbus Police Department in Georgia told TMZ that they are looking into Giannetti's story, and they are looking to see if there was any missing persons or unidentified remain cases in the area from that time frame. And you got to remember, back then the police and forensic and stuff wasn't the same as it is today. Someone goes missing, like someone gets like beat and killed and goes missing and dumped in a river, it's less likely to be, I think, to be found or done anything about than today, right? Forensic has just come a long way since like the 60s and 70s. So that's insane. So Giannetti's post has been deleted from his Facebook page, but the interview with Boston Sports Wrestling will likely be added to the police probe. The question is if Marty was able to prove self-defense if charges are brought by the police. It's also possible that the case will go nowhere. So, wow. That's just like, I wouldn't expect it in a million years that if I log on to Twitter one day, see Marty Jannetty trending, I would click it and read that. 13-year-old he was getting raped behind a bowling alley, the bowling alley clerk. Guy, he defends himself, grabs a brick, beats him over the head with it, kills the guy, and then drags and throws him in a river and doesn't say anything until now.
Well, I mean, at 13, I'm sure he was probably terrified when that happened.
I still want to know how he dragged that body to the river.
Yeah, how did anybody not see like a 13-year-old dragging like a man's body to some river?
Oh, people drive by. Oh, that's nice. Look, the kid and dad are playing with each other. He's dragging his dad.
Or like, did anybody not notice that the bowling alley guy was missing?
Well, they did report it missing, right? Like they reported the police, like in the police, that he was missing. It's probably the next day. I imagine it's probably happened after. But like, what the hell?
Well, if it was in self-defense, then he's okay. But who knows? I mean, that long ago. I mean, I'm sure his memory might even be dimmed from what actually happened. I mean, how long ago was that? What year was it?
1973.
Yeah. So. I mean, great year. We weren't around, but, great year.
That was a great year. I remember those days.
A lot of things happened.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Including Marty Jannetty dragging a man to a river. But, yeah, that's just... Marty Jannetty said some weird things over the last 10 years, but that might take the cake.
Yeah, I think it does take the cake. But anyway, we got to get away from this. We're going to take our last commercial break here, guys. And we'll be right back here in the Niagara Wrestling Observer and right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network.
J&L Flooring is a Niagara-based specialty flooring and design company. They take great pride in providing elite customer service and support. They are a specialty flooring and decor boutique shop with a beautiful showroom, great pricing, and a wide variety and truly unique selection of products. All their products are environmentally friendly and responsibly produced, so you can feel great about your flooring choices. Their goal as a local business is to build authentic relationships based on honesty and integrity that they foster with respect and authenticity, offering a unique and wide range of quality products presented by a knowledgeable and patient team. They connect with their customers to simplify the process to make their life easier and to make their homes beautiful. Visit them at 4424 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, or find out more at jnlflooring.com. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 905-358-3299 J&L Flooring.
The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill is located on the top of Clifton Hill and just a 5-minute walk from the majestic Niagara Falls. It is conveniently nestled in the heart of the tourist district. A family-owned and operated business, the Spicy Olive opened its doors in May of 2003 and has since been established as an authentic and unique Italian restaurant and bar. Its rustic ambiance and time-worn finishing provide a warm and inviting dining experience. Offering an array of delicious dishes, they specialize in authentic Italian cuisine, homemade sauces, fresh ingredients, and consistently providing a strong foundation on which they build their menu. As night falls, the Spicy Olive shifts to a lively lounge where drinks and live music come together to make a perfect evening. For more than 15 years, they have provided not only for their dedicated locals, but their customers from all over the world with authentic Italian food and great live entertainment. Open daily 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for dinner and till 2 a.m. for drinks. Check out their new menu and book reservations on their website at Spicy Olive Bar and Grill, it's with an E at the end, .com, or call 905-371-2323 for reservations as well. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Niagara Wrestling Observer right here on the Armchair GM's Sports Network. We're here to talk about some more wrestling. Hope you guys enjoyed the first part. Hope you guys are enjoying their sponsors. Make sure if you're in the Niagara area, you're checking out your local sponsors and you're supporting your local sponsors, especially at this time in the world. It's always nice to check out our sponsors and check out your local sponsors. So check them out. You can go over to armchairgmsports.com and then check out where and how to get to those sponsors. It's really great. We're here to talk more some wrestling. The wrestling business. And Mr. Corporate Cappy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Because we're ready to dive in to the Wednesday Night Wars. That's right. Simon System music playing. That only means one thing. Is we're going to read some ratings. And that is the Wednesday Night War ratings.
Who beat out WWE this week in AEW?
Well, it was a big week for AEW this week. AEW won! Woo! The good guys won! That's right!
I want to recount.
All right, so AEW drew 901,000 live viewers, and NXT only drew 753,000 live viewers. Last week, AEW had 773,000, while NXT drew 707,000. So they're both up. Obviously, AEW going up higher. As in most weeks, AEW won the 18 to 49 demographic. NXT was ranked 27 among the top 150 shows on cable, while AEW was number 5. This is the second week that both shows had to go up against the MLB games, but the first week that had to go up against NBA competition since COVID-19, the start of COVID-19. Dynamite was headlined by AEW World Champion John Mox taking on Darby Allin. This is the highest viewed episode of Dynamite since March 18th, where it drew 932,000. So, yeah, good for AEW.
Yeah,
winning
because
another week.
Yeah, because they got Bischoff on the show, and that ended up being a complete flop.
Bischoff equals ratings.
I mean, he does, but I mean, we'll get into that. That was terrible, but
debatable.
Let's hear some of the shows that were number one on this list.
Oh, don't you worry, I'm pulling it up. But I just want to say though, I think it was a weird. It is going to be tougher for WWE now that live sports are coming back. I'm not trying to say that it's an excuse, but it's just that it's going to be tough with the MLB. Yeah, basically MLB back. The NBA is going to be going into their playoffs soon. Like it's taken a big hit because TNT is actually forced Dynamite at the end of the month for 2 shows, the last 2 weeks of August, to be moved. I believe it's the 3rd week of August. It's moved to Saturday Night Dynamite, and for the last week, it's moved to Thursday because of the NBA. So it's affecting. It's going to affect. Even it's going to affect Raw and SmackDown as well. Once the NFL gets going, hoping they get going, it's going to be tough.
That's the first smart thing TNT did, was move AEW off that spot.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it's going to be something I think it's going to be something those 2 weeks, because it's going to actually show non-head-to-head competition between AEW and NXT.
Or Raw and SmackDown, but you don't want to pull up those ratings, so.
Yeah, because like the Raw and SmackDown sheep are going to watch regardless of how bad it is.
No, they're going to tune in every week for compelling television like Raw Underground.
Oh,
but like you said, the live sports being back, because live sports haven't been around, I think wrestling probably has gotten a little bit higher rating just because there's nothing else to watch. So now that there actually are other alternatives in the sporting world, they're going to be in trouble a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be something to see, guys. It's going to be really something to see. So if you guys are ratings junkie and you're all about the ratings, it's going to be interesting to see how NXT and AEW go head to head those last 2 weeks. I'm very curious to see, because obviously being AEW mark or sheep or however you want to call me, I'm going to be interested to see how they crush NXT those weeks.
Right.
But anyways, as for the ratings, let's see what shows top the lists here. So AEW went into the top 5. So they break these down like by 5s. So AEW made it into the top 5. They got outbeat by number 1, number 2 went to NBA regular season games. Number 3 was Tucker Carlson Tonight on Fox Network.
Great.
And then the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills takes the number 4 spot.
Wow, you lost to Beverly Hills.
I'm
Housewives.
sorry, NXT. Should I go down to them?
No.
And see what beat above them? Let's see. Let's take a look here. All right, there's NXT at 27. They were beat out by Fox News at night. They were beat out by The Story. Catfish, the TV show, they're beaten out by. A couple of NBA games. They were beat out by See No Evil, was being shown on Invest Television.
Stop.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Kane.
It's gotta be Kane coming in and beating NXT.
Oh, at least it's wrestling related.
They're beat out by Hometown Repack, Forged in Fire, The Rachel Maddow Show. Ooh, great show. The Ingermingle. Married at First.
All right,
And Guys Grocery Games coming in at number 9. All right, AW beating the Guys Grocery Games. That's huge, man. That's a big one.
I was gonna say, like, where's he? He's usually on the top.
He's flopping, man. He's flopping. He's got to get better. He's got to get better grocery games going, man. That's a. You know, I'm gonna give it a Price is Right thing there. Yeah. Shame on you, Guys Grocery Games. Shame on you. Anyways, let's get into this. We gotta talk about this. On Monday, the great WWE ran by Corporate Cappy's own father Vince debuted a new type of show, a shoot fighting show named Raw Underground.
Now I want to preface this by saying, good idea, terrible execution. Okay, I understand what they were trying to do with the Raw Underground, and it is a cool concept to, like, you know, try to put more realism into it. But like you and I were talking about before the show, the shoot, like, real fighting in WWE just doesn't seem to make sense.
Real
if
fake
you want to
fighting.
do that, go watch UFC. But, like, I don't know if they were trying to make this like a Fight Club or whatever it was, but the execution of it was terrible.
I'm gonna say bad idea, even worse execution. You cannot do a shoot fighting thing in a fake wrestling show. You can't do real fake fighting. It doesn't work. It's never worked. WWE tried it years ago. If anyone remembers, Brawl for All, right? Remember that? Remember where they had that boxer come in, face Ken Shamrock? Like, that was like the worst. That was like the worst rated crap. They scrapped that quickly. I'm giving this show the same amount of time that SmackDown Top 10 had. Remember SmackDown Top 10?
Oh yeah, like 1 week?
That lasted I think it lasted a couple weeks and then it was gone. I give this show another week, another 2 weeks, and it's gone. It'll be scrapped. They'll have that MVP faction take over and scrap it. It's just so bad. Like, what are you doing? I know you want, and I'll give a small bit of credit here. I'll give them that. I'll say, okay, you want to try something new. The ratings, obviously, for Raw are in the toilet. Like, they've never been this low in their whole history. Like, I don't have a toilet flush, like, soundboard here, but just picture a toilet flush here. You got to do something to get people back. This is not the thing you do. This is just like, where were they? Like, what dark, gringy, like a wrestling ring with no ropes, the posts are still there. You have these guys just like flopping all over each other, some randos around the ring, banging on the table, banging on the ring. I'm like, what am I watching? And why is Shane McMahon at the helm? What does he have to do with shoot wrestling?
Shane O'Mac equals ratings, man.
And everyone's sitting there thinking like, oh man, Shane O'Mac's gonna be back every week. No. I read that they're gonna have someone different host this thing each and every single week.
So what is it gonna be like the guest GMs for Raw back in the PG era?
Now we're gonna have this. I guarantee you we're gonna see some UFC, some MMA stars come in. We're gonna get like the Big Show hosting it one night, or Mark Henry, or Booker T.
I guarantee you, Pat McAfee hosts this thing.
Oh yeah, one night. Yeah, after I bet you he beats Adam Cole and he comes on that show and it starts gloating about beating Adam Cole.
But like, where did all these guys come from, and like, who are they using for this?
I just like they used Eric from the Viking Raiders, or I still like to call them War Raiders, was in it. They had some randos I've never seen before. Then the Hurt Business MVP stable came in and just like started trashing people around, and they scared everyone out. And they said they're taking over and business is a booming. Like, what? It was bad. It was just so bad. It doesn't work on a wrestling show. You can't do fake shoot wrestling fighting on a wrestling show. It doesn't work.
I'm still gonna give him credit for trying to think outside the box, but the execution, like you said, was in the toilet, just like the ratings. But like I think that they could have done something good with this, but it just what they did was not good. Like I really do think that there was potential with this.
They need to improve big time because what we've seen that week, like the lead up, it was the perfect WWE like trap you in and then disappoint you trap. Like they lured you in, they are teasing it all show, and they revealed it at the 10 o'clock hour, and it was just like people on Twitter going, "What the hell am I watching?" I saw so much negativity drawn towards that. It was just not good. Like it was trending, but it was trending negatively.
Like, is this just going to be a spot filler on Raw each week?
I don't know, but you know what?
What the point is?
That's the problem with it trending, though. WWE only cares if shit's trending, right? They only care about the views. They don't care about what kind of product they put out there. And that's the problem. If they cared about the product they put out there, it could be trending and be something good. They could get back to their 3 million viewers. But it's just desperation. It sucks because it is desperation when they try to compete with like the NBA and MLB. If they just try to focus on being what they are, they wouldn't have to try that hard and try hard and show like crap like that. It's just sad.
Yeah, I guess if they think that they're trending is trending. They don't care if it's bad or good trending.
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys are a fan of the Hurt Locker or whatever they're called, the Hurt Business, that shit's not going away. MVP today signs a multi-year deal with the WWE.
Yeah,
so,
good for. I love MVP.
Yep, signing the old guys. Just
listen. MVP's not wrestling though. He's the manager of this thing.
Oh, for now, he did wrestle what last week? You mean he's not wrestling? He had a U.S. title shot last week.
Ah, he's not wrestling. He's a manager.
He's wrestling. He wrestled for the U.S. title.
Listen, MVP is great at what he does. You got to admit that. The guy is going to be a hell of a manager for the stable. I think that there's big things to come from this stable, honestly. Like, I like Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, and MVP together as a stable. I think that this has potential to go somewhere but again, huge if, capital letters,
yeah,
if this is used properly. And I don't know if they're actually taking over this Raw Underground and business is booming or whatever, but we'll have to wait and see for this week. I mean, it's only been 1 week, so let's see. Maybe they go back to the war room and make some changes and come back next week.
Let's go to the war room and have 30 people give ideas, and then one guy say, "Nah, we're going with my idea because it's."
This is such good shit.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Vince.
Well, I'm not going to shit all over it after 1 week. I want to see if they come back and try to make some changes to it week 2 before I shit all over it again.
That's fine. I'll give you that, but I won't because my hopes have been let up way too many times for me to go and say, you know what, I'll give them another week. Nah, because I know what's going to happen. We're going to come back the next week, and it's either going to be worse or we're going to get the final week of Raw Underground next week, and then we'll never see it again.
Listen, for you fans out there listening to us, Kyle just doesn't want to give WWE any credit for anything, okay? Yeah. I hear at least we'll give you, some objective and constructive criticism towards WWE. Kyle just wants to give you all the criticism and give them no credit. So
what can I give credit to fake shoot wrestling? It doesn't work. If AEW was doing it on their show, I would give them crap for that. You cannot do fake shoot wrestling on a wrestling show or fighting. Sorry, shoot fighting.
All right.
You cannot do that. If Raw Underground was like an underground wrestling league, sure, we can talk about it and say, okay, maybe this has potential to do something. Maybe they're going to start like a no DQ, like you go into the wrestling ring and there's no rules at all. There's no ref. You go in, chairs are legal, anything's legal. Sure, why not?
ECW?
Something like that. You know what? No, ECW still had a ref and stuff, right? There's still rules at play there. They still played to the rules sometimes. But if they really wanted to go underground and wanted to start some kind of different kind of wrestling league and, you know what I mean, and do something off that, sure. But you cannot do shoot fighting in fake wrestling. It just doesn't work.
You know what I think this is? Shane McMahon's coming back. It's going to be Under Siege. Raw Underground's going to take over Monday Night Raw.
Oh, they're here. They're here.
Yeah, we just need Kurt Angle in the back as GM on his fake phone looking into a fake space and saying that they're here, and I
God.
can't. But yeah, maybe if Shane comes back, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, last bit of news. We'll end off the show here. WWE actually could be going back to live TV. There is a chance, believe it or not. WWE is planning to go back to air weekly program on television. WWE is looking to stop holding TV tapings for its weekly television programs such as Raw, NXT, and SmackDown soon. Instead of taping the shows 2 at a time, WrestleVotes is reporting that the company plans to start airing live weekly programming starting on August 21st episode of Friday Night SmackDown, which is the go-home edition of SummerSlam. And WrestleVotes has been known to break a lot of stuff and be right on the dot, so you should take their word for it. WWE wants to have one location for their entire weekend that would include SmackDown, SummerSlam, and the following Raw. NXT TakeOver 30 is still planning to take place in Orlando. This comes at a time where it has been reported multiple times that WWE is planning to hold this year's SummerSlam event from an outdoor location with hope of having fans in attendance. Atlantic City is actually being a favored hosting site. WWE holds SummerSlam pay-per-view on Sunday, August 23rd. WrestleVotes is also reporting the following. WWE's new plan is to restart live programming with the beginning of SmackDown in the SummerSlam weekend, continuing throughout the weekend with pay-per-views and the Raw show. Fans are still to be determined. One location for all. Not certain on exact location yet, but NXT TakeOver will still take place in Orlando. So they're looking for somewhere to do outside, and I think I know where they're going here, because if you have been paying attention to the independent scene actually have been having live shows, especially in the New York, New Jersey area. They've been having live shows outside. I believe GCW is a big indie company that's been having a lot of outside shows, and we're still able to do it with, like, I think 100 fans maximum, but, you know, the fans were all outside wearing masks, and it still kind of worked, and from what I've seen from clips, it was still pretty good, and I think maybe WWE is looking into doing something like that, but it'll be very, very hard to do it in Florida, I think, being a hotbed of the COVID crisis. So it's still interesting that they're looking to going back to live TV. I think live TV works better than taped with a lot of things. I'm not a fan of the piped-in crowd noise. I'm not a fan of watching something, like, especially it's actually happened a couple of times in AEW where I've watched a match and it's like dusk out, like the sun is still going down. Like the very next match, it's like pitch black outside. I'm like, wait, the sun doesn't go down that fast. Like, what's happening here? So it just kind of ruins the aesthetic of things. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know if WWE is prepared for live TV, because from what I've read, a lot of reports they've had to scrap and reshoot a lot of things through the tapings. I think it could be a good thing. I think if you go to live TV, you wouldn't have the need to stop and reshoot things. You just go with it, right? Like they have been in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that part of it. I just don't know about them wanting to tour Florida, with Florida being such a hotbed for COVID cases right now and having people attend these events. I think it would just cause more of an outbreak. If they want to go back to live TV, do that, but just have the Performance Center people for now, for the rest of the year. Like, why do they need to rush into getting live crowds back? Like, that's just going to cause way too much of a disaster, especially if they're going to only do it in Florida.
Yep. They're getting greedy, I think, at this point. I think they really just want a taste of the live fans again. It's impossible. You see, like, other sports are doing it. They can't do it right now. I don't think live sports with crowd are going to happen for the rest of the year. It's sad to say, but if things continue with the trend in the United States and worldwide, we're not seeing fans back into live sports for a while, guys. Not until the end of 2020. So it's just a realistic fact that, you know, wrestling companies out there like AEW and WWE are going to have to face. And
it sucks because obviously wrestling, more than most other things, needs a crowd. It needs the fans to, like, they need, the wrestlers need to feed off the crowd, and that's how the reactions happen for the heels and the baby faces. But in this reality, I just don't see it being a possibility, and it sucks because you kind of just want them to kind of shut it down, but they need to make money and continue to work as well. So, I mean, and WWE and AEW still make money off these shows, so they have to keep running it. It's just not going to be the same, and we just have to accept, like we've accepted a lot of things in 2020, that this is just the way it's going to be, and we're just going to have to deal with it for at least till the end of 2020.
Yeah, we're in the reality era.
Exactly. It's best for business, you know? All we need is Johnny Ace back, and then everything will be fine.
Oh, no. Did he not come back not too long ago with the scooter too?
Yeah, he made a cameo in the Money in the Bank ladder match. He was in he was in the catering room in his scooter.
Oh man.
Before we end the show today, Kyle, can we quickly talk about, because we've talked about WWE a lot here, and you've shat all over WWE. Let's talk about this AEW debate thing that happened this week with Freshly Squeezed.
It was just so great. I didn't think we
Chris
need to talk
Jericho.
about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you had Eric Bischoff as the moderator, and he added nothing. And again, I love Eric Bischoff. Once you told me that Bischoff was going to be on, I actually tuned into AEW to watch this segment.
All right,
I watched one segment of AEW.
Slowly turning you. Slowly.
But I was not impressed. Eric Bischoff might as well just been like some random goon in catering out there as a moderator, because he added nothing to this debate. It was awful.
Hey, it was the first time he was back on TNT in like 20 years.
Like you said, yeah, it was nostalgic for him, 20 years being away from TNT, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't add anything to the debate at all. Like, what was the point of him being there?
Yeah, I thought he was going to do a little more. I know we got like a little taste of him like yelling at Jericho at the end. I was expecting maybe a little more too. I don't know. It was. I'll give you that. But as for the debate was great, man. Jericho's answers. The guy is just the GOAT of coming up with like great lines. Even you have to admit, Orange Cassidy, of all people, like the climate line was priceless. Like he hadn't talked until then. And then his promo was actually pretty intense. I guess that was the first time that Orange Cassidy's ever come out and done a promo like that. So that's something.
Not really impressed, but regardless,
Why?
I'm just mad at Bischoff because he built me up just to, get me disappointed because it was bad. But yeah, Jericho had some good one-liners, and what he was saying about Orange Cassidy being a disgrace to the wrestling business, like that stuff was funny. Orange Cassidy not responding to anything except for global warming questions, that was kind of humorous, I guess. But to me,
it was more than humorous.
The only good thing about it was at the end when Jake Hagar beat the absolute crap out of Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
And they came out with a jacket that he had dumped the orange juice on them before.
It's $7,000 jacket.
Yeah.
That's why next week's match is being labeled as the $7,000 obligation match.
Right. So if Orange Cassidy beats Chris Jericho, I can't even think about this right now because
great. Putting over new stars.
Yeah, because he's definitely deserving to be a new star.
Coming from the Mr. Person that's saying, "Oh, AEW's just gonna push their old talent." He's putting over a new star.
WWE's trying something new with Raw Underground. You don't like that?
Yeah. Who is at the head? Who's the head? Old stars at the head of all of it.
Shane McMahon's new, man. I haven't seen him on television in like a year.
Shane McMahon's new, yeah.
And did you see? Oh, yeah. By the way, can we talk about that? Rusev was like going at it on Twitter. Apparently, Rusev is no longer a wrestler. He's going to be like a full-time Twitch streamer. He went
Miro,
off about,
Miro.
He made some like sarcastic tweet about, "Wow, Shane McMahon on Raw. Haven't seen that before," or something like that. So
that's fantastic. I'm all for Miro, man. I'm Team Miro now.
Yeah, he's basically
great.
like saying, these new stars. Yeah, new stars. But hey, AEW's not out of the woods either yet. They're fucko.
Yeah,
they
we'll
got a lot of
we'll
old
see.
talent, especially a lot of their old WWE talent, like the debut of Matt Cardona this week.
I'm sorry, was he in the
AKA
main event
Zack
picture?
Ryder.
Was he in the main event picture? No. Main event picture
yet.
was John Moxley and Darby Allin, who John Moxley put over Darby Allin. And then
I wonder where
Cody.
John Moxley came from.
And then Cody Rhodes and Mark Cardona teaming up with each other. But what did Cody do? He put over the other team, the Dark Order, the two new stars. He put them over in that match.
Wow,
There's
Dean
a big
Ambrose,
difference.
Cody Rhodes, and Zack Ryder. Wow, haven't seen that before.
Yeah, they just do it better.
This is what you expect.
You haven't seen Matt Cardona before because he was never on TV in WWE.
He won the IC title ladder match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and he lost it, a week
win.
ago? What, did you lose it a week later? To Miz?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Or when he had that terrible storyline with Eve Torres, Kane, and John Cena.
Oh, yeah, that was
Such good shit.
Yeah.
But yes, this is what you can expect in the Niagara Wrestling Observer, folks. A lot of good banter here between AEW, WWE marks.
Yeah, so we hope you guys enjoyed it.
This is quality radio right here.
This is quality. Top
this is
notch.
what you need to hear.
Yeah,
this is the stuff that
because
happens
AEW
on
equals
Twitter.
ratings. When you talk about AEW, the ratings go up.
Right. But this is what you see on Twitter, but it's usually guys blocking each other. Kyle and I can do it without
and still be
blocking
friends
each other.
and still run a network together. Look at that.
Yeah.
It can be done, and it will be done.
Just like the best friends.
Yeah, they're great, man.
Terrible team.
Sorry about Sue's mom's van, though. That sucks this week. They destroyed her van. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the second episode. We'll be back another time with another episode. Make sure you are hitting the like button on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. If you're downloading the episode, give us a 5-star rating. That always helps. And share on social media. Get the word out there that the NWO podcast is here to take over. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Wrestling Observer, the Niagara Wrestling Observer, all right, here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, and delivered to you right here from the beautiful Niagara region. As always, I am your host. I am Kyle Masters. You can follow me on Twitter at @RealKyleMasters. You can follow my co-host, Corporate Cappy, at Corporate Cappy on Twitter as well. All of the links you can follow us are in the description of the video on YouTube, or you can check out our link tree. Make sure you go over to our Twitter account at Armchair GM Pod, and then click the link tree, and it'll take you wherever you need to go, or check us out on ArmchairGMSports.com. Thanks to my co-host, Corporate Cappy, for having this discussion today. Pleasure as always. Big thank you to all our great sponsors who help us put us on the air and support us and keep us on the air. And finally, to you viewers out there, you are the most important ones for tuning in and listening along with us for this episode. This has been another edition of the Niagara Wrestling Observer right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network, by sports fans, for sports fans.
I got something to say.